Hi dear all, and welcome to the session. Hope you're all doing well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good.
Yes, sir. Good
Okay,
morning.
so good morning, and coming to the today's session objectives. Let me give you a glimpse of what we are going to discuss and which are all the things we are seeing in the today's session. But before that, let us see the status check so far what we have done and what we are going to do. So just we started on Monday. So with certain aspects in our mind, like how this the pathway of the core structure and as well as the appropriate topics which I am going to cover has been shared in the Slack. And thereafter, we have seen certain optimizations. Okay, so which are all relevant to our TDL, DML, DCL, and TCL operations. And then we have seen some kind of the implementations. Okay, so these kind of implementations helped us to observe the mechanisms like how group by works, how aggregate works, how the corresponding operations like union, all join, accept, all those kind of things. And apart from those kind of understandings, we have done some kind of the evaluations. So far, the evaluations are done for 8 members. Just I have given some task to you, and that has been disseminated in the sessions as an interactive session. Now today also the last 4 members, I have posted okay the appropriate tasks in the Slack mode. So uh, let me check, friends. 1 minute. What is that? Slack. Oh, so just I have shared that particular thing with you, and I closed that 1 minute. Let me go through and read out whatever I have shared the kind of task to the members so that the evaluation is over for individual assessments. Of course, today afternoon I have given some time so you can come up with the groups. So that is also one of the important point. Based on your formation of the groups, okay, we'll assign. Okay, probably today evening only we'll complete that particular task also. Um, and accordingly we can follow up the remaining things. So because individual efforts are required, but apart from that, how you are contributing to the um, team as a team, how we are working and all also important. So as a part of that particular thing, we are making use of that convention, like how individual members are having individual potentiality. Like if you see in the earlier things, all our friends observed how we are performing the tasks, how we are achieving the implementations or whatever the aspects we have given. Okay. So as a part of that particular assessment, remaining tasks I have posted here also. So task one, how views are helpful in the development of the projects, okay, given to Wasim. And best implementation techniques and the usage of joins. Okay, because the most commonly used approach. Okay, so that is what you call the join operations. You can work out the join performance and how many ways you can achieve the implementations. That was given to Srinithi. And task three is best possible way to optimize the aggregate function. That is one thing. And as a special case, how we can better utilize aggregate functions with the group by. So aggregate functions and as well as integration of group by and aggregate. That is one more option given to Vedant. And the final task, friends, here we are making use of like and as well as not in. Okay, so and as well as the wildcard characters, percentage and underscore, those kind of things. So and in the optimizations, if you see those kind of wildcard characters also playing a vital role. So I have given this task to Satish so that we are covering all these views and as well as the join options, aggregate functions and the group by clause usage and then wildcard characters and all these things. Okay. What I will do is Uh, however, we have done some quite progress in understanding of or revisiting of the SQL constructs, both in the normal way and as well as the optimized way. So once you form the groups by today evening, based on the groups, just I will be posting some simple aspects. Maybe that is a generic one or else a conceptual kind of the things because once you form the group and the impact is more. Okay, that's what we are following that approach, and from that we can draw the best outcomes. That is the first point. And however, from tomorrow onwards, we'll see some kind of procedural language, okay, where the SQL constructs were grouped and we are running those group of statements as a program. So altogether, up to now, we are working on though complex queries or some kind of the correlated subquery or whichever you have seen, they are all single liners, to be frank. But whereas if I want to run some set of statements, maybe to implement some kind of the task, and if I want to expect some kind of the value out of the execution, and sometimes if you are referencing the set of statements though they are not returning, I want to perform some kind of the process as a part of the running of that program, and automatic execution of some of the statements, okay, like in the form of the triggers, and selecting some dynamic memory, and within that pulling of all the records with the help of the cursor. So actually these things are not definitely new, friends. Only the thing is we are grouping or we are collecting all those particular things as a common program, I would say, because nothing new. Here and there, some of the variables or procedures, some kind of the select and call you may be working, but ultimately only 10 to 15% additional things we are going to do, at least in the terminology wise. Concept wise, definitely there is a distinction. Understanding of the stored procedure and stored functions, triggers, cursors. Really, they are all meant for the implementation of set of instructions with the single liners or by using some kind of the constructs. Okay, after creation of those particular procedures, and we can make use of those conventions according to our requirement. So this is a generic flow, right? Okay. And once we complete the initial assessment because all 12 members data is there with me, and I have assessed the formative. Next is maybe for the groups, I may ask you to implement some smaller things, capstone kind of things, which periodically you may add the constructs. Okay, and today also some of the aspects I am going to introduce. Okay, so that is the overall flow actually. So now what we are doing is here, um, the initial constructs we are planning to achieve in the today's session. Always we are talking about the transaction, friends. Actually, there is a concept called transaction management. So just we'll see how transaction is getting impacted while working with the database environment, and how logically it is giving some flow of the instructions. And second thing is enum data type, which is some sort of application provided by MySQL. And at times, maybe if I want to give the priority in the team, and if I want to, maybe if I'm raising some kind of request to the IT team, okay, the priority should be observed. Sometimes my system is not starting, or maybe it is after starting also again it is restarting, okay, without allowing me to work. Such kind of the tasks should be there. So in projects also, maybe sometimes we may want to give priority to the tasks, and we want to prioritize the appropriate activities, low, medium, high kind of thing. So which I feel I need to project this particular thing in front of you. So definitely it will be useful in our implementation of the projects. Third thing, friends, one more important thing, always we may not scope the appropriate information in the table itself. Okay, sometimes there is a possibility of engineered feature in the sense the feature is not there, but you are going to construct that particular feature according to the requirement. Here feature is nothing but the attribute. So that is what you call the generated column. So how we are going to generate the column according to the requirement. So this is one more important point I want to highlight here. Apart from that, so and our most commonly used kind of thing, though you are knowing, however, we are making use of understanding of the old concepts, and as well as we are making up the old things to the perspective of the new learning. So I'll try to give some of the insights of this particular join also. Maybe we'll limit our discussion to this inner, left outer, some kind of the right outer, and let us see how we can achieve this full outer. Okay, so these with some examples we'll see, of course. And most importantly, friends, I don't think today let because we need to group the members and all, will up to 3:30. So just let us take these things, and the most awaited aspect is normalizations. And at least in our projects, we should achieve some 3NF up to uh, normal forms actually. So this is also one of the important topic we need to observe. Okay, and here and there I may introduce some of the locking mechanisms or serializability concepts. Because while designing the database, not in the implementation perspective, if you are going ahead and we may get the chance of designing the database also, definitely you need to know the flow of the data and how tables can be concurrently used. Okay, in the concurrency usage, how we can achieve the serializability and without any performance loss. So these are all definitely belongs to the optimization aspects of the database management system. So maybe implementation wise, some distinction would be there depending on the tool, maybe SQL Server, Oracle, or MySQL, or Cbase. Like that, there is a here and there some small changes would be there, but ultimately the background and concept is same, right? So if you know the source, then automatically according to the requirement you can easily map those kind of the requirements. Okay, so this is the plan. Let us see how we are going about, and then we can see the aspects. Okay, so before launching the transaction management, because that is a conceptual understanding, let me introduce some implementation. So it will give boost to us. So whatever the concept we are having in our mind, or whatever the things, but implementation gives the real confidence to us. Okay, that's what I planned, that sharing of the screen by the members. By the way, I forgot to tell one more option. So that is, yeah, let me check. Yeah, uh, these uh, these are all common tasks I have given. So let me paste those things also. So these things I want to make use. Okay, these things, or else I will plan continuously. I'll do one thing. I'll push this particular second task to the afternoon only. Maybe I can take half an hour or 1 hour session in the afternoon, and I'll allow you to demonstrate, because in the um, initially, just I will ask you to share the screen to work with customer and product tables so as to establish master detailed relationship. And these are all common to you, insertion, and as well as how that is reflecting. That is something like, so you also get some time if still some of the members uh, not yet done, you can utilize the timing also, the break time and as well as the lunch time also. So you can come up with the implementation. This is common for all friends. Okay, so this particular thing is common. Let me see. Okay, so maybe 2 or 3 persons I may pick up and I can ask the implementation aspect. Okay, but the about task is specific. The names also I have mentioned, that is specific, right? Okay, so now the enumeration. Uh, we are trying to achieve that particular enumeration, where that particular enumeration is something which we are talking about. So that particular enumeration helps us to prioritize the things, and automatically if I want to achieve some kind of the ordering of the events, then we can have that enumeration. Let us see that. So, but before that, let me start with the virtual lab. So whether it is forced or not, I have to check, or else, yeah. So this is a common procedure, friends, in your MySQL also, while working with the command orientation. My strong suggestion is initially better you use the command orientation only, which helps us. Okay, so if any mistakes are there and we can easily recover. So that is one thing. So just you specify this. Uh, so we need to use the database kind of thing. Here, as this is the virtual lab, there is a restriction. We have to use the existing DB, that is Indium Lab 1. Okay. So now we have changed it to this Indium Lab 1. Now let us see. We only created some kind of the employees data, employee EMPL, okay, employee UK, when like that we have created. Uh, so this is the base requirement. Now, let me introduce what exactly the concept of that particular enumeration. Because while talking about these kind of the enumerations, again, everything, if you are referencing to showcase the appropriate implementation, first we need to create some kind of the table. From that point, we should make use of the implementation. Okay, so let us understand the implementation first. Okay, so that after that we can easily analyze the conceptual thing, because though I am talking conceptually, until the implementation there is no chance of understanding the things. So for the particular purpose, so just we are making use of some kind of the table, friends, here. So let me explain what exactly the table I am using here. So here I am using the tickets table. Assume that the scenario is very simple. Maybe we are having some kind of the portal, how we are having our Zoho and Great HR login kind of things. You can raise a ticket, okay, while working with the kind of the environment. There, what we are doing is um, the end user, I mean, who are going to track this particular tickets, and he has to assign some kind of the priority. And if you observe, friends, while raising any ticket in our portal also provided by Indium, there is a chance of selecting that low, medium, and high kind of the priority. And of course, your ID need not give. That ID is already there. Automatically, it will be fetched from the system, whatever the machine we are working, okay, provided by our office. And of course, title, that the kind of the appropriate whatever the issue we are having, maybe the issue related to the machine IT, or maybe the issue related, sometimes Teams or Office may not be connecting. It happens, though you are logging in, it shows us some busy, or you're in meeting, or such kind of things. So the context is that. So just I have taken this particular scenario. I felt that this is most suitable kind of the approach. So just we are creating the tickets uh, uh, relation in the database. And here we pretty know that what exactly the primary key, which is used to uniquely identify the records in the table. And moreover, it is the combination of unique and not null, that we pretty know. Auto increment option, because every time I need not use, because in a day how many requests are raised, and okay, today, okay, 6th, just how many 10 requests has been raised in Chennai location, 20 requests has been raised in Bangalore location. Like that, they should have some track, and they need to complete the appropriate addressing of the tickets based on the time factor and all. Maybe some of the tickets may be high priority, so they need to first process that particular thing. So this is the scenario I am having in my mind. So just you observe that, and if you describe these information, so automatically you can see that the tickets information. And friends, you can also run along with me, no problem. So what I will do is just I will give you the kind of the code with you also, so that you can also, if you interested, there are always two options. One, complete understanding of the code, and then you practice separately, or else parallelly you can work along with me. However, I'll be don't copy paste, because at least in the session you can do that, which is giving. Why we are making use of these things is we know already these kind of aspect. Only the thing is we should observe that effect. Okay. Now, if you refer, friends, there is one more important point we have embedded here, which is the priority value. Okay, so priority, generally what we are doing here is rather than specifying the integer, float, character, or varchar, directly what we have done is the first two things are common: ID and as well as the title is a typical integer and varchar kind of the data type. As I mentioned earlier, enum is a data type provided by the MySQL. So what we're doing is just we are making use of that priority, and just we are assigning, and of course you can also have a practice of taking the capital letters for representing the keywords. So here in that particular case, just I have taken this enum as a capital line. That enum again we are populating with three different priority: low, medium, high, and you should enter the priority, because based on that particular priority only the team is going to respond. So high priority, medium priority, and as well as the low priority. So this is how you can create, and maybe we may create this particular thing also. Maybe we are generating a small application, and that application is nothing but responding to the calls of or else giving the resources to our CEO or COO or CTO, like that those members want to access our information or data. So based on the priority also we can design a small application with enum. So just we can assign that the roles correspondingly the role will be taken, whether high, medium, and low kind of thing. Okay. Now, once this setup is ready with us, the priority column here only accepts three values: so, low value, medium value, and as well as the high value. And what exactly the MySQL does here? Because low, medium, high, how it is treating? Because definitely priority in the sense there should be some ordering, and it is humanly possible to understand that high priority means having high impact, and the member should take the responsibility to clear that thing first. And in the human perspective it is easy to understand, but how MySQL treats internally? That is the question. So very simple point, friends, here MySQL map each enumeration member to a numeric index. So suppose in this case, if I am talking about the low, it assign 1. And if I'm talking about the medium, it assigns 2, and high is 3. So in the order of sorting also, 3 goes to high priority, 1 goes to low priority. So like that, maybe if I am giving 5 priority values, accordingly it is going to mention 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of things. Okay, maybe if you are working with a week data, or if you are working with a monthly data, in that particular case also you can just change the narration like weekly, monthly kind of thing. And what I will do is here we'll do some simple logic actually. Like I can ask you, so Wednesday I may ask Satish to give the presentation, and Thursday I may ask Praveen to give the presentation. Like that also you can play with. Once you are familiar with the appropriate aspect, then automatically you can familiar with the remaining aspects. You can map the thing to the thing. Actually, that is a requirement, right? Okay. Now, once this thing is over, friends, now it is a time to insert, because this data, this table is not having any data as of now. Now, what would we should do is we have to make use of this particular insertion. There is no specific uh, criteria or specific methodology so as to insert the data. Only the thing is just as usual how we are performing the insert operation, and accordingly you can make use of the insertion. Now you see what I am doing here is just have a look on this. So up to now just we have created, and now we are inserting that data. So insert into tickets, whatever the title, whatever the priority I'm having, and ID is a default kind of thing where I don't want to scope that particular ID. Simply what we are doing is just the ID. Let us let MySQL generate that ID. And friends, one small doubt here I'm having. You can use the chat window. Can I take this particular ID as a surrogate key, or what is your thought process on that? Just use the chat window in between. Whenever we are getting some logical break to give some tasks or to give some questions to you, definitely I'll come out and checking the things. And yesterday, Wasim is the star performer. I am sorry I could not announce in the session, friends. So day one Sahu and day two is Wasim. Okay. So and today let us see how many are competing for that thing. Okay. So maybe I can consider sometimes based on your tasks also based on your because it all dynamic, na? So like performance is a dynamic aspect, right? So now we are inserting the title and as well as the priority title because see sometimes
Sir,
friends yeah, who is that?
it should be tickets one.
Okay, so right. No problem. So if you are referencing these kind of point, friends, tickets also there because as a part of the demonstration, first I should run the queries. I used to do that rather than venturing in front of you. I always run these particular things, no problem. So again, we'll go back and change in the source. So tickets also there, friends. So but however, we are working with tickets one. So what we'll do is just we are changing that particular thing. Let me insert this thing, however. So and moreover, control L. So just I am describing tickets one. Now the first record I am going to insert. Okay, so whatever the aspect. So how it is going to store? A normal thing only, friends, nothing more. But only the thing is we are simply changing our dimension. So here scan virus for computer A. Actually, this priority is taken by the agency itself because without knowing ourselves, sometimes they monitor our machine, our IT team, or they warn us and they stop us to use any external I mean external USB or external hard disk drives because we are all working on the environment where we are having all the sensitive data with us. Okay, so there should not be any glitch or compromise on our client data. Okay, be cautious, friends, while sharing the data and while using the data in the projects. Definitely, that is not our property. Okay, we should be very cautious. So while using that particular data across the team or and no question, okay, you should not share any kind of information about our client or data to any other member except our stakeholder. And you need not discuss these things with our friends or family members also, because client wise we may have many discussions in the design phase, analysis phase, and all these things. Even if you are involving in a leadership talk or all whatever, so just be that you make as a habit, friends. Actually, so maintaining the confidentiality and holding the appropriate knowledge about the client and all these things is definitely required as a developer, as a software engineer, right? Okay. So likewise, we are going to insert some multiple data items. One more thing is, friends, here beside the enumeration values, you can use the numeric index of the enumeration member. So while inserting also, because that is the advantage of this enumeration. Always you need not give high, low, medium kind of thing, because MySQL internally push this particular thing into the, I mean, the kind of the index. So let us see that particular aspect also, how we can insert, okay, the appropriate information based on the numbering rather than the actual creation. So just I am using one more insert statement. So just if you could have a look on this. In the earlier insert, we have taken the high and now we have taken this particular value 1. Uh, Value 1 is referenced by low because the order of that enumeration is low, medium, and as well as the high. So obviously already we have seen that MySQL assigns this particular thing related to numbers. So low 1, medium 2, high 3, because only we are having three options, especially in this application. Maybe in some other application, suppose 12 members are there in the team and I want to assign some task to these 12 members individually, then there is a 12 different enumerations I can use. Always that need not be a priority. Maybe that can be a task also. I may ask you guys, I may ask you to use enumeration. I may ask you to use the generated column, or else I may ask you to implement the normalization as a capstone or small kind of the project. However, after completion of the course, just I will give some 5 days or 1 week of the time. So you can generate a small application with all the, I'll share the document friends, analysis, design, and then coding, so that before jumping into the project, at least you are having some kind of experience in the project terminology and understanding the project in a preview mode. Okay, so this particular insertion helps us to uh, observe the priority, because I need to upgrade the windows. Maybe I'm having some a window machine, and they would have scheduled that particular thing, and generally they automate that process. Maybe if you see any kind of the updates are available in our Windows machine, automatically it is getting updated. But whereas at times, there is a chance of okay, if you are giving the machines to the accountants, or if you are giving machines to the functional users, maybe they are not technical and they don't know, just they open their app and they complete their task. So for those kind of the members, definitely the IT team should take care and help them. So this upgrading of Windows, keeping that as a one, that means low priority, and we are making use of that convention. So this is one more option we can see. So in this example, just what we have done is, instead of using the low enumeration value, we have used that value 1. So automatically low is mapped to 1. It is acceptable. At the moment, friend, suppose if I'm specifying, maybe I can give a try. So just whatever the value I'm having, rather than giving this particular thing, I'm trying to give it 4, because let us see how this particular MySQL behaves with respect to these things. So data truncated for column priority at low 1. What is the thing, friends? What is your understanding? Let me select uh, tickets 1. Okay, see, we have inserted two records. One is specifically we have mentioned high, one is we have mentioned 1. But third thing we tried, friends, actually. We tried for this, and just I am pasting this for your understanding. Let me see. Yeah, it allowed. Just to see that what is the implication, and moreover I am pasting we have to see these kind of the errors, friends, how MySQL behaves and how it is warning us, okay, related to these kind of the erroneous situations. Okay, so though we tried, it has given the error like data truncated for column priority at row 1. Okay, so that just try to understand that particular issue, and just to make use of the chat window to share the information with me. So we touch based on high and as well as the low, and sometimes, friend, there is a possibility of embedding these things parallelly. Okay, parallelly in the sense, let me clear the screen, and now I am making use of some other option of the insert. So insert in MySQL, yesterday I don't know who has given the Karthik or Praveen has mentioned that there are certain aspects to insert the data. Like they have taken some particular columns, and they mention some kind of the aspects. At a time, I can insert multiple rows. So I'm following the same approach. We are taking the tickets one table and title and priority as usual, and the values. So install Google Chrome for Srinidhi, and maybe Srinidhi would have raised some request, and it is a medium kind of the request, because more or less just we are using the Edge, but again Chrome is also unavailable to use for some of the applications. So that mentioned as a medium priority, and create a new user for the new employee private, because this thing is a high priority, because configuration of the machine and allocation of the ID and reporting manager, because you need to perform some activity and point of contact, and someone has to give the instructions to you. Okay, before receiving the machine, and we have to read offline or something like that. So in that particular case, this is the highest priority thing. So it doesn't mean that always you restrict to one insertion, and you can go with the multiple, and at the same time you can change your analogy. Okay, so now we are having this kind of environments where I have done some scan virus for computer high priority, and upgrade Windows operating system for all computers, maybe in a particular wing of HR or accounts, low priority, and install Google Chrome for Srinidhi. Just it is we are having the medium kind of things. 1 minute, friends. Nonsense disturbance. 1 minute, just. Sorry for that, guys. Okay. So just we're having the population of the data. Okay, just by seeing this particular data, one can easily observe. Okay, related to what exactly the information and all. And one more thing, friends, here we defined the priority as a not null. If you refer the description of the tickets data, so just very keenly we have to observe, especially working with um, these kind of the conventions. So the priority uh, not null. While creating the table also, we have seen that. Now at this moment, because we defined that particular priority as a not null column, when you insert a new row without specifying the value for the priority column. Okay, so let us see what happens when if I am making use of this kind of the statement. Just you observe what is the effect of this particular thing. Keep in mind that the priority should not be null. But what I have done is I simply inserted rather than inserting the title and priority. I am taking the chance of inserting only title. Okay, just I have inserted that particular title into the table. Refreshing of the computer of Harish. Maybe some malware is there, or else they are tracking something, and they found that the system is used in different location, something like that, friends. Okay, so but now the point is in the earlier insertions always we mentioned the priority everywhere in the insert option, but now we have taken the chance of not mentioning the priority. That is the first point, though it is not objected, friends, if you refer. Okay, now the point is let me see what is the priority value assigned to refreshing of the Harish machine. So this is one thing. Okay, so insert into tickets title. It has not updated. Okay, 1 minute. Let me run once more. Only earlier things were updated. So insert into tickets. Uh, one, yeah, this one actually. So already as a backup, I maintained that. Sometimes, you know, if earlier also suddenly that virtual lab is under maintenance and they stopped the service. That's what, as a safer side, I always create multiple tables so that I can demonstrate on this thing, though I could not create the table. Okay, at least description we can see. Now inserted one row, and now what we are doing is select star from tickets one, Harish. For Harish case, just we have inserted without any priority, friends, here. But though we have not given any priority, refreshing this thing. So that means if you are not mentioning anything, it is going to default. So especially in this particular case, because we have mentioned that priority as a not null column, when you insert a new row without specifying the value for the priority column, MySQL will use the first enumeration member as a default value. Just keep that point in the mind. So just we are making use of this convention, and of course I am copying this thing. However, I will be sharing the document after completion of the session. But to notify you, because while preparing the concept and while learning that particular concept, if you are having the clarity, then you can you need not prepare once again. Okay, whenever there is a requirement, then only you can have a look on that. Okay, now my requirement here, friends, I want to filter. Okay, just I want to filter. Just I am taking pause here. So just I am giving first question as filtering of MySQL enum values. So that is one task. And second thing is uh, I want to uh, print out. Okay, so maybe that is enough. Actually, the enumeration kind of thing. And that too, I want to get the high priority tasks, because before logging out, filtering MySQL enum values with high priority. It's a high priority. Just give a try. And I have put some earlier also. I have put one question. Uh, can I take auto increment as a surrogate key? That is one thing. Now, second thing is filtering MySQL enumeration values with high priority. Okay. So just I'm taking pause here, friends. Just to spend some time, 3 minutes of the time. So can ID taken as surrogate key? This is the first question. And this one is 1 minute. This is the second one. Okay, think through. Just both are simple. Only the thing is you need to observe the aspects, right? Okay. Okay. So got some responses. Many, not some. Many responses we got. Okay. So simple. So let me answer the things first. So let us execute the query. Maybe you're having different options. Definitely that is allowable. So initially what I will do is rather than directly one thing, friends, here, though we are having multiple ways of working with the operations or applications. First, you see the high level perspective only, because at the moment while explaining a concept, I try to use all possibilities. Maybe immediately it may not help you, but at times, while you put into your project or while you are learning something on day-to-day basis, definitely you should take some of the decisions, or you should give some kind of priorities. Always, friends, whatever the programmatical aspects we have created, first you give the priority to those kind of things. So in that sense, actually we have created some kind of high, low, medium, kind of the high level enumeration. So similarly, what we'll do is we'll use that particular thing only and we'll run the task. So now simply what I can do is just we are making use of select star from tickets or tickets one, because at the moment we are making use of this thing. So just I am using this one because some more options were there with respect to tickets one, where scan virus for computer A and create a new user for the new employee Praveen. These two are the highest priority as of now. So as to complete today. And similarly, so just this particular high is having the internal representation as some kind of three. Okay, so just you can observe that aspect also. So maybe the low priority, maybe they can take some Friday or some kind of the weekend nearest aspect. So they can see, okay, upgrading of the Windows OS, so that in a way the member also won't suffer with detachment of the machine. Okay, generally they maintain those things in Friday afternoons or something like that. Okay, and refreshing also low, because at times, if they find any malware or something like that, they go with some kind of the precautions. So this is how you can observe. Now coming to one more thing, friends, here. Always there is a chance of representing all kind of I mean low, high, and medium kind of things. But the majority of the members interested in understanding of okay, how many high priority tasks are there per day, and how many medium are there, how many low are there. Friends, if you observe, this is a kind of scheduling actually. If you refer, keenly observe the enumeration kind of the work is a kind of the assignment and is a kind of the priority, especially in our case study. Now, what we're doing here is let us try to understand one more option where I want to perform some kind of operations. Okay, so like you consider the kind of observation here. So what I'm doing here, just I am making use of some kind of statement. Just have a look on that, and based on the output, we'll discuss what exactly it is populated. Now you see. Ah, oh, see, it is not taking. Okay, so we have done some kind of querying on this particular table on top of tickets. This is which is nothing but title and priority we have taken from tickets one, order by priority, descending order. Okay, like rankings and all. What we're doing is highest rank first, medium and low. And what is the point we need to observe here, friends? Because we didn't mention any ranking here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that we have not mentioned. In fact, okay, in fact, internally MySQL maintained the appropriate assignment of the values. So the point here is if system based support is there, you need not worry much, friends. Even in generated columns, probably after the transaction management, we'll jump into the generated column concept also. That particular concept also very much helpful whenever there are multiple attributes, and I want to make use of those attributes as a common entity. So generated column is one which is really helping us. Okay, So and in fact from 5.7 onwards only we can make use of that generated column, and if you are using below 5.7 you have to upgrade your MySQL. Okay. Now we'll try to understand this particular statement of order by priority. Okay, so I thought of covering this particular order by with respect to the running of some kind of the applications. Group by we have seen some kind of joins we observed, and some SQL, DDL, DML, TCL and DCL kind of aspects we have discussed as a part of our journey. Now we have scoped this order by also. Order by is a sorting mechanism, we know that, but especially while working with the enumeration kind of thing, this sorting is very powerful, friends. Because though we are not explicitly mentioning the priority values, but internally MySQL assigns, that is the advantage of the enumeration. So with this, we can observe that automatically you can you can observe the prioritization of these particular things, so that the assignment of the task also can be given to high priority can be given to the senior member, medium can be given to the moderate member who can handle the task, and low priority can be given to the recently joined member also, because they also need to involve and learn, and they should reach to the level of the high. So this is the way, friends, one simple application with one additional aspect. Okay, projects or applications or nothing but the usage of the constructs in a better way, the implementation of the aspects in a better way. But if you are not tagging your learning with scenarios, you may miss out many things actually. Simply, I can start with the creation of the table, and I can show you the insertion, and I can talk some enumeration, and I can leave. But only the thing is, your context is high context actually. Like you should make use of my each word, and whatever the training I am giving, you should reflect on your workplace. See, before Uma's training and after Uma's training, you should feel some distinction. Otherwise, why I need to give the training? Okay, maybe in your vocabulary, maybe in your projection, or maybe in your confidence levels. I'm not talking about the coding skills and all. That, however, we are all having that. Only the thing is, I am portraying applications along with the coding. Okay, so and little magic that optimizations we are adding whenever required, and moreover we are tagging every learning with the scenario. So that is the main advantage, friends. So while preparing also, if you start with the case study, and according to that particular case study, if you could able to integrate your tasks, then ultimately you end up with better learning. Otherwise, simply again one more DML statement. Okay, just we are running that, nothing you are going to get. Okay, so however you are all familiar with all these kind of the statements, but how to devise that particular statement, that idea should be generated, friends. Okay, I am trying to ignite your mind. I am trying to empower your capacity of implementation. Okay, so definitely I hope I am going to get the success with your all support. Okay, so with this, just I am going back to your because out of these things, my uh, all-time favorite is going through your chats only. That is how I can make the enjoyment in the trainings. So actually, I have posted some of the information in the chat, priority and all. Yeah, Sahu has responded as usual first. He has given that two outcomes, like select star from tickets one, where priority. Just we have seen. The point to observe here is, friends, though I am leading to some additional constructs, but still our statements remain same. There is no change. Only the thing is, accordingly, we have to observe that the internal mechanism of the MySQL, because we mentioned enumeration without any data type, enum, priority, and low, medium, high, like that. So 2 points we have to observe. We didn't mention any data type. Automatically, MySQL assigned that. Second important thing is the priority wise, low one, medium two, and high three, like that it has assigned. That is the point. So that point we have used in the latest query actually. So latest query I'm talking about this one. Though we are not aware of the internal mechanism of that MySQL, but accordingly it is going to arrange the appropriate entries based on the high to low priority. Okay, good, Sahu. And one more thing, actually, Vedant, just observe here one small point. I have given that ID. Can we consider that ID as a surrogate key? What is the issue with that, friends? Because if I am saying yesterday also, I have given some kind of the example on some product information. We should be very cautious about these guys. Um, suppose already primary key is there. Do we need to explicitly mention the surrogate key once again? Already that is
No,
the
we
not
don't need.
required. We don't need that. That is the point, friends, actually. Because see, the very straightforward this is. In our case study, we are considering the scenario of IT team and how they are resolving our tickets. And with respect to that, we are making use of priorities, and the IT team is taking care about the about uh, according to the priority they are going to serve us. In that case, there is no ambiguity, first point. And that too, auto increment itself is a strong unique value, and there is no chance of generating the duplicates. And we explicitly mention that as a primary key also, just to recollect the creation of the table. So in those kind of the cases, we never require any surrogate key, friends. Surrogate key, whenever there is a, whenever suppose I am giving the auto increment if I am giving, that itself is a surrogate key basically. But again I am saying that is a primary key. So definitely that should not be the surrogate key. Surrogate key requirement is something like where there are some character kind of the data in the primary key. If the developer is struggling to understand whether these particular things are unique or distinct, though he is having the notion of primary key understanding and all, but at the outset he want to get the totality or the serial number kind of thing, then only you prefer the estimation of the surrogate key, friends. Otherwise, not required. That to maintain that convention, right? Okay. So Praveen says surrogate key because ID contains unique numeric. We can be used uniquely identify a single row. That's what he is consolidating the statement like already that is a primary key. Then accordingly we can plan. Maybe if I am using primary key as a character kind of thing, then definitely we have to go. And Sravanti also says surrogate key. Sahu says we can use ID as a surrogate key as it can also identify the records uniquely. Surrogate key purpose is not to identify the records uniquely, but it is purely the user perspective, friends. However, logically, if I'm talking, candidate key, primary key are there in the table, and that's what we always prefer. At least one primary key should be there for the better database design in the table that we are all agreed upon. And in that perspective, the surrogate key requirement is whenever there is a if we want to observe the serial number kind of thing, or if you want to add some additional key, okay, rather than considering the existing primary key, just observe my words. Existing primary key is there in still force, but we are making use of that convention of getting the information in a serial number mode. Okay, and Shahid says we can use surrogate key as it accepts numeric values. Okay, definitely surrogate because each records are unique. Okay. Mm. Janice for also saying same. Where clause for filtering. Yeah, Vedant. Yeah, correct. Bharati says we can use auto increment ID as a surrogate key. It contains unique value. General procedure, friend. Surrogate key, if I'm saying that is auto increment. Sometimes in Oracle sequence generator is there, but here we are using the auto increment. Harish. Yeah, Harish has given some different answer. Can use ID. Okay. And where both by using index or string. Yeah, index mechanism. I will scope that some in some scenario, friend. Definitely, I also love to teach index. But the problem is, as you are reaching to the level of triggers and stored procedures, indexes incur some additional space actually. Even while using Hive also, we are having some partitions and bucketing concept actually. Basically, what we are doing is we'll take some kind of the table and we'll partition them, maybe based on the country, based on the weekly data, based on the product data. I can do the partition. On top of that, I can apply the bucketing also. Suppose let me put the scenario like this. While generating some kind of uh, this thing actually, the real estate kind of the data. Maybe you are approaching to purchase one apartment in Chennai or Bangalore. Maybe in Bangalore, I want to purchase in somewhere in Yelahanka or something like that. So in that case, first we should partition the data related to the city Bangalore, and area wise also Yelahanka, that I can take as a bucket actually. So that means high level data items can be taken as a partition data, and within it again, if you want to apply some kind of the filtering of the data, you can go with the bucketing aspect. Okay, so definitely I'll scope that Hive whenever I am teaching big data kind of techniques to you guys. Maybe a few members are devoted to big data and data engineering and data science. Again, in that case, definitely I'll scope those kind of tools also. So Sai Sravanth and Karthikeyan, because ID is a single table column which contains unique numeric values which can be used to uniquely identify a single row of data in a table. Yeah, he has given the same kind of answer, high priority. Vedanta, yeah. Uh, Bharati again given or priority, good. Where priority 3, Praveen says. Janice for also same thing. Very good friends, yeah. So almost all members has given the answers, but to keep engaging the session, that's what I'm pulling some of the constructs to talk. Sahu is asking something. Can someone help Sahu friends with your analogy? Maybe use the chat window. Can we change the ANM members as the database grows? Definitely. Okay, so that's what I will do. One thing, I'll give some kind of the group submission to you, so you can work out and you can come up with the understanding. Okay, still you're having any doubt? I am there, however. Okay, so definitely we can scope that, but only the point, friends, here. Um, at later point of time, we can override the enumeration values also. Okay, so those things are also there, but we are not going into that. Whenever there is a chance, then we can pick up this enumeration and we can make use of that. Okay. Now, as mentioned earlier, now what we'll do is we'll talk about some kind of conceptual understanding of the transactions, because this definitely helps us to observe the process of the normalization and the understanding of real capacity of the database. So this particular topic specifies that the transaction management. Okay, so friends, I need your utmost attention because this is something like this topic is um, especially while I scoped this particular thing in the advanced SQL is understanding of the transaction is mandatory, no matter whether you are working with Oracle, MySQL or SQL Server or Cbase, whichever, because that's how the databases are going to work. Okay, so the initial point is uh, transaction means what exactly, because there are many terms related to this particular transaction. Transaction is a logical unit of work basically. Okay, though, so if you are referencing, what do you mean by a logical unit? So whatever the activities we are considering, maybe query 1, query 2 and query n, while running, these particular things are considered as a unit. First, we have to observe that whatever the transaction or whatever, whichever the queries I am working, there is always some logical connect. So because this point, even we can see in the PLSQL kind of thing. That means in the stored procedures and triggers also, and begin and as well as the end kind of thing. And whatever the statements we are giving in between, this is a unit of work. Okay, so no matter I can use the insert, I can use the update here, and even I can use some DDL kind of aspects, whichever. But that can be considered as a logical unit of work. And if you remember, friends, one point uh, in the DDL context, okay, in the DDL context, the database behavior is uh, now the user issue some DDL command and auto committed. Okay, so just automatically whatever the DB I'm having, you need not explicitly mention any statements so as to confirm the effect of the DDL command into the database. But in the DML context, okay, clearly we observed some kind of the narration user, and I'm having some DML commands here also plural. And what I'm doing here is just we are giving some kind of the data, which is again stored in the log file. Okay, log file. And this particular log file, the user decides whether I need to commit, whether should I roll back, or can I make use of any save point option. Okay, so there is a scope for the DML operations to play around commit, rollback and save point, but DDLs are not giving any that scope. Let me give you that while you see this particular class shell, you should observe, okay, by seeing this diagram. Now, at the moment I am talking about these kind of the considerations, immediately some of the points should come into your mind, like how these particular all the instructions managed by the database, because I am making use of some kind of the convention, like some kind of the insertions or updates or deletes I am using. If I'm using such kind of the instructions, how database considers these things without any problem, or how it manages, because it's not our not only our data, maybe in a team, Harish would be there, Praveen, Satish and Srinidhi, like that, some members, and all they are keep on inserting and updating the corresponding data. So by performing all these kind of the concurrencies, how these particular databases works. Okay, so the perspective is working on top of these particular things, friends. We should observe some kind of the properties related to the transactions. That is, the very first thing is atomicity. So suppose if I am giving some task to you, either I should give the task to you completely, or else I need to train you. That means half of the task I will give to somebody and half I will take. It won't work out. So atomicity is a property of the transaction. Either the transaction should be fully committed, or that should be fully rolled back. Friends, see here the most important property, because one more point I want to notify here. Database is nothing but the result or resultant of transactions, because this transactions is heavy scope, but I want to give the essence of this particular transaction so that you can easily recollect all these things whenever you are running the queries. So your database is nothing but the resultant of all the transactions. That means suppose if I am currently running transaction 5, The previous state is like this, friends. T1, T2, T3, T4. These transactions already there. Some kind of transactions already there in the database. And these particular transaction result is the our database system, maybe the employee data or client data, whichever. Now, at the moment I am attempting this particular new transaction. Again, this particular new transaction is having some kind of the statement one, statement two, statement three. As we said, like this is a logical unit of work. Either this unit should be fully committed. I have to commit entire statements into the database. So I would say after committing my resultant is like this T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. Okay, all these particular transactions. Now T5 is added to the database. So this is the case one about the fully committed. Okay, but whereas if I am talking about the case two, maybe I'm not satisfied with the transaction 5. Okay, so what I felt is I simply given the rollback. Okay, because the chance is there, no rollback property is there. So in that particular case, the resultant database is yes, you are right. T1, T2, T3, and T4. There is no partial commit of that fifth transaction. Okay, so to conclude this atomicity, atomicity is a property of either you need to commit the transaction in the fully whatever the statements I'm having, or else you have to roll back that particular thing in a fullest way. It's not partial commit, partial rollback won't work out. So to notify that, assume that I'm having 4 transactions already uh, populated in the database. That means one more definition is there. Database is nothing but the resultant of all the transactions. Now at the moment I am running a new transaction T5. There are certain aspects we need to remember whether I am committing fully this particular T5 or not. Because as per the definition of this particular transaction is a logical unit of work. So for that particular purpose, at the moment I am committing this particular thing, automatically the reflection is there in the database machine. Coming to the second case, this particular case is, friends, rollback. If I'm not happy with the way how I am getting the results, and maybe I'm not happy with the results what I got. So in that particular case, just you can apply the rollback statement. The state of the database with 4 transactions remains same without affecting. Okay, so this is what the atomicity, and maybe some of the points striking into your mind, friends. Okay, yes, you are right. Consistency of the database. Correct. So what do you mean by consistency? Generally, one proverb is there. Consistency is more important than the speed. So suppose Praveen is daily practicing some kind of the code, and Harish is daily practicing some kind of the code. Whereas Satish often go to the coding and often he's practicing. Definitely, though Satish is having command over the implementation, but he is only preparing those things Wednesday or Friday whenever there is a need. But our Praveen and Sahu, they are continuously putting effort. Okay, like what I mean to say is whatever the coding you are performing, more or less, maybe that is a DDL, DML or triggers or stored procedures, whatever. Daily some application you take or daily you prepare, you work out some kind of the applications. You can go through our blogs or our videos, or maybe you can ping me. Okay, so like that, some day to days you plan those kind of aspects, friends. Sometimes, in our team also we may not have some work, and in that particular cases, you can venture some kind of um, advancements. Maybe recently, which are all the things released by MySQL, and how can I embed that particular thing in our project? So that is the consistency rather than the speedness. Speed is also required, but Why I am comparing you guys is you can easily get the point. Okay, so both are different strategies, but consistency gives the a day to day, na? So it becomes a habit rather than directly going to somewhere. Any doubt, friends? Someone has unmuted. Wasim? Okay. Right. So now just observe here, guys. Consistency related to the database machine is very simple and important. Before the transaction and after the transaction, the database should be error free and maintain the quality data. Maintain the quality data. So that means, guys, suppose we are having 4 transactions so far in the database, and the resultant of that particular thing is providing some data with us, and whatever the quality, because friends, if we are not getting the quality data, if our source is not good, then definitely you end up with wrong results. See, I need to get the valid data and I want to apply some query. On top of that, I want to apply some kind of the logics and I want to analyze the results. I want to analyze the results. But friends, here the point is, if you are making use of quality data, then only we are getting the good results. Suppose if the data is not up to the level, that means the data is up to T4, it is good, but after adding this particular new transaction, if the database is populated with the wrong results, obviously your analysis goes wrong. So what I mean to say is consistency is nothing but the quality of the data. Before the transaction, whatever the quality, whatever the values consistently we managed, the same kind of the quality should be catered in the other after committing the transaction also. So before and after, the database must be in the consistent state. Okay, so your understanding and your observation of the data should be in that particular format. That is a consistent. Consistent data means quality data, and even after running multiple transactions, still my database should be in a position to give the proper results without any problem. Okay, that is what you call the consistency. Next, third point is there, friends, actually. So 4 points are there totally. We are with the third point. I know we reached to the level of break. So, but hold on, friends. We'll let us complete this particular discussion and we'll take proudly the break. Okay. So isolation. Let me give you this example. So Sahu is accessing some employee data and he is performing some update on this particular employee data. So parallelly, our Wasim is also accessing the same employee data from the same database, and he's also trying to read or update or write something. Now the problem here is, observe here, friends. What Sahu is doing is just he has taken 1001 and he want to upgrade the skills. Okay, like Hadoop, that guy is also having, and he want to add PySpark. Okay, now what exactly Wasim is doing is because they want some of the members to assign. So project assignment, the Hadoop guys want to upgrade to PySpark. So Sahu has done that. But in the meantime, these are all temporary results. Na? They are not yet committed actually. Temporary result. This is also. But at the time Wasim accessing this particular data, he got the Hadoop and he simply placed that guy into the data engineering. Okay, rather than PySpark MLlib kind of thing, data engineering. Now you see it is creating some kind of the ambiguity actually. So the reason behind this is uh, while accessing a table or database object, if multiple users allowed to perform the updates on the common object, common database object, in this case some table, then okay, if I am performing these kind of updates, friend, then we'll end up with uh, inconsistent data. Okay, so what is the solution, friend, for this? Just I am pausing here because I am keep on talking from past 15 minutes. So I'm taking some 3 minutes pause here. Hope you got the understanding of the logic which I am talking. Spend some time. Okay, so just give me what exactly problem you would have identified. What is the solution in a simplest way?
Wasim can wait until I finish the updation.
Ask. Okay, that is one thing. So that means only one user is allowed. Hmm, This is one thing. Any other? You can unmute or you can use the chat window because the understanding is most important, guys. Okay, no problem. Take your time. Wasim says.
Hello.
Yeah, Wasim, tell me.
Sir, if both the user are from the different place and accessing the same database, then they don't know who is accessing the database.
Mm, mm, correct. Correct. So no, yeah, you're right. Because though those guys, maybe you are in Saudi and our Sahu is in Delhi. Maybe you are all working from home. Uh, and you guys are accessing the employee data from the same database. That is the scenario. So in that particular case, I have projected some um, case here, like rather than observing this particular data in a proper way, so there are certain implications. Okay, so but however, think through. Uh, but this is the property where isolation playing a vital role. Okay, because this is not a simple discussion. Isolation is a way of allowing only one user to perform write or update, okay, to perform write or update kind of aspects, uh, where you refer these kind of the updates coming to the writing or update only one user. But whereas in the reading process, we don't have any problem, friends. Maybe user one, user two, user three, any members can be given to read the data. Our concern is only writing and updating causing some trouble, friends, actually. So that is what how you can refer the isolation. And the problem here is temporary data generated by multiple transactions. Okay, temporary data is generated by multiple transactions. Due to this, database leads to inconsistent state. But all we are trying for the quality data and we want to get the quality information. So reading cause no problem, friends. Even I am reading, even I am allowing 100 users to read the data, it's perfectly all right. But update and writing generate the temporary data actually. The problem is, if that particular temporary data is populated, that particular information really causing some ambiguous state. Okay, that is the inconsistent. So one of the property of this particular transaction management is it is providing the property of the isolation. What do you mean by isolate? in the in the pandemic, we pretty know this home isolation or something like that. That means the member is detached from the world, even detached from the family also. Okay, that's how we cornered by corona. So see that isolation is something like whatever the table I am using, especially in the case of writing and update, I should not take the chance of allowing other user. So transaction itself is having that particular property of isolation, where if one user is trying to access the data and other user is not allowed to access that. Sahu may be saying it is simple words, but that is the fact actually. But you may ask me one question. Yeah, I am opening one more avenue here. So if you are allowing only one activity or one user, suppose if I want to perform the parallel aspects, okay, I want to perform parallel aspects because allowing one task at a time is not a good idea. Parallel aspect in the sense I want to perform multiple tasks simultaneously. And for that purpose, friends, we are having the concept of concurrency control, and as well as we are having the topic of the serializability. Okay, just I will come up with some kind of the analogy, friends, but I strongly recommend just whenever time permits, maybe this weekend, you can have a look on this concurrency control or serializability, which is very good concept actually. So along with this thing, the second aspect I want to give you is the locking mechanism. So in fact, once we decide the batches of the projects or group activity, so then we can I can assign some of these kind of advancements in the databases. You can also have the process of running these things. And by the way, friends, okay, just I will give some kind of smaller tasks or some kind of the assessments, assignments to you. Maybe that is a group or you can share and you can submit to me. But my question is traveling that extra mile. Sometimes we may need to work on any Saturday or Sunday, means on the task I am saying. Okay, so it definitely give you see the additional advantage. Okay, so though I am grabbing your time and weekend enjoyment, but initially you learn these things, friends, and then thereafter once you get into that comfort zone. I mean, comfort zone. I am not talking about staying in a same thing, but uh, knowledge wise. So you reach to that particular level. That is one more confidence we are having. Up to that, you have to put efforts. Okay, no matter whether weekday or weekend. However, we don't have any sessions on weekends. By the way, and even I don't want to put much burden on you, but my tasks are purely on the mind based, friends, not laborious work or collecting some 20 or 30 pages of the data. No, 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 not that. Whatever the task we are talking about, that is igniting your mind, and some idea should be generated by your own, though you are using Google or some kind of the search engines, but still your magic should be there. Okay, then only the learning will come into the fruitful. Okay, so with that, this isolation is a way of allowing only one user to perform the writing or updation of the data, because in the generation of the temporary results, the temporary results, causes some kind of the ambiguity, which again leads to unnecessary quality issues of the data. So at this moment, try to observe that isolation is a way of disallowing the multiple users to perform the updates on the same data. Okay, but to get the complete picture of how we can, though we are the transactions are preferred the isolation property, but the parallel aspects should come across with some kind of optimization techniques. It is always not good idea to completely detach the table to update or write by only one user. Okay, it's not the benefit of the parallelism or distribution kind of thing. For that, we're having a logic called concurrency control and as well as the serializability mechanism. And moreover, we are having a locking mechanism also in the advanced concepts. So in the meantime, just have a look on these kind of the conventions. Otherwise, I will, however, I'll scope these particular aspects whenever there is a chance of covering these kind of things in the course of the study. Okay. And the final property of the transaction is durability, friends, actually. So durability is something like, is a warranty kind of thing. Like if you while purchasing any product, so the company generally gives you the kind of okay, up to this we support you, and even in projects also will give support to the clients. So the durability is nothing but the duration of the corresponding database. The same logic. So we are having some 4 transactions so far populated in the corresponding database until the commit of this particular 5th transaction. So suppose I'm having the new transaction 5 until the commit of this 5th transaction, the T4th, the latest transaction, whichever we have committed earlier, only that particular transaction is in the duration. And once you commit this particular transaction, now the duration of this particular database is T5. Okay, that means what I mean to say is, um, suppose I'm having a database with certain number of the transactions, and until the commit of the new transaction, the existing transactions are forced into the database, because database is hardly the combination of the transactions. So once you pick up the new transaction and until the commitment of that particular transaction, the whole transactions are into the force. So this is how you can observe. Let me see how many of you have given some answers related to the earlier question. Sahu again says we can revoke all other users access. We're having DML access. Maybe always, insertion and updation and deletion are nothing but causing some kind of write operations on the tables actually. So in that perspective, always you need to have some kind of serializability, concurrency control, and as well as the locking mechanism. And at the outset, no matter as I mentioned earlier, this transaction management, concurrency control, and locking mechanisms are common for every database tool. It's not for MySQL or it's not for Oracle. It's a standard aspect which fundamentally followed by all the tools of the um, database terminology. Okay, so with that, just we had a discussion related to the transactions. So to summarize the appropriate aspects, so far we have seen. We started with the enumeration discussion, and there we have seen we have observed some kind of the scenario where how the priority wise the appropriate IT team help us. Sorry, this is low, middle, and high, medium or high, and automatic priority assignment by MySQL. And if you are while inserting also by default, okay, if you are not mentioning anything, it by default go to the low, not to the high, because by default means low only always. Okay, if that is having importance, we have to explicitly mention, and then we can observe the uh, process of insert and process of selecting the aspects. That case study we have seen, and from 5.7 we got this thing actually. And one more important thing, friends, with the transaction. Okay, this is the most important aspect, conceptual aspect to understand the database in a proper way. Second thing, this is the first topic actually. Enum case study. Okay, so once this particular thing is over, then we are coming up with the transaction. Basically, we are having the atomicity. Either we have to commit the transaction permanently or we have to roll back the transaction, and consistency. Before the transaction and after the transaction, the database maintain the quality data. Isolation. Isolation is a process of keeping track of okay, whatever the data we are having, and while accessing the data by the user, maybe for the reading or reading, okay, for the update or for the writing process, we have to make sure that the temporary results should not cause the ambiguous data item. And finally, the durability. So because we know that database is a combination of the transactions, as a resultant of that particular transaction, we are populating the database. So until the commit of the new transaction, the older transactions are in the course. Okay, so once you decide to commit the new transaction, then only you are going to handle the finalization. And just we'll have a break now, friends. And after the break, the third topic I'm going to talk about is a generated column, which is versatile topic. Okay, so which is really helping us to implement some kind of the aspects in the projects also. Okay, that will see the generated column. So with that, I'm stopping here, and I'll wait for you 1 minute. So if you are having any doubt, please let me know, or else we'll take a break. Yeah. Maybe initially these transactions and conceptual aspects may need some of your efforts. Again, you have to go back and read some kind of thing, class shell, or maybe some of the material I'm providing. Don't worry, it's absolutely fine. First time, if you may get little ambiguous. That's absolutely right, no problem. But only the thing is, after getting into these things, you list out all the things which are not not connected, okay, to your mind. So once more again, I'll repeat those kind of aspects based on your thing. Okay, however, I will be connecting with one to one maybe after some time.